Hello and welcome to another Helm to Tower video. This one is going to be the Mike catches up on Destiny news video. That's right. We've got a lot of Destiny news this week. Some of it's related to Destiny 2 and some of it's related to a newly announced Destiny mobile game that has been rumored for a while. So I thought I'd just kind of collect the kind of charcuterie board. I don't know. Well, just a mess of, we just had a mess of news this week. I'm collecting it all and I'm just going to talk about it all in the video because, you know, on top of the news, I've also been playing a decent amount of Destiny with episode Revenant, a new Onslaught, messing around with some new builds and things like that. And also the dungeon, Vesper's Host dungeon, is all released recently. So I'm just going to kind of throw that all into one Destiny ball and serve it to you. I don't know what I'm doing with these segues, but anyway, let's get into it. I think I'm just going to start with Destiny Rising because admittedly I don't have too many thoughts about it, but I thought I'd just go over the details, and maybe because I have admittedly not read a lot of these articles that they put up on the playdestinyrising.com website. Through some of this I might be more interested, but you know, let's just read through it. Destiny Rising is a new mobile game. It's in partnership with the NetEase. It does a lot of other mobile games. I admittedly am not super familiar with the NetEase, so feel free to let me know in the comments if, you know, they have weird practices in their mobile games or what kind of games they do. I didn't research for that. I didn't care to research that. But, you know, Destiny Rising, they put out a trailer. You know, it definitely looks, you know, it looks a lot nicer for a mobile game than I was expecting. Frankly, there was definitely a lot of interesting ideas. You know, I did hear that it is set in basically an alternate timeline, Destiny, because it seems like kind of going back, that definitely had a lot more Destiny 1 vibes in here than Destiny 2 vibes for sure. You know, it seemed a lot more classic. You know, they were talking about Iron Lords a lot more and had, you know, a lot more classic tower looks. And there was like a Seeker character that's in here that's like an anime lady now. You know, so you can definitely feel that kind of vibe from it. And, you know, there was a lot of cool stuff in there. Like, you know, I'm just talking about the stuff in the trailer first, but, you know, they had, you know, different, you know, supers that are not in the game. Like, you know, they were summoning big, you know, 2-armed cannons that reminded me of like the classic, like, you know, Halo 3 days where you're ripping turrets off of things and, you know, going third person and shooting stuff. There was a Void Goth Warlock lady who like summoned like a Void Scythe. There's like a hunter who had the fire sword. They stole the Warlock fire sword and made it way cooler when they were like flourishing around through a zone. So, you know, that stuff was all super cool and flashy. You know, some of it was obviously just kind of like, you know, fancy kind of trailer CG, you know, kind of marketing material, you know, but there was like little snippets of gameplay and it looked like a Destiny game. Like it looked, you know, definitely, you know, maybe some visuals were not all the way up there, but, you know, it looked way better than I thought it was. I'm definitely super curious because they're doing play tests, I believe, in early November. I don't know if those are under embargo or how open those tests are going to be for players. I know you can sign up for it and all that stuff and potentially get in. So we'll just have to see how that stuff goes and how people kind of try it out in that form. But, you know, we'll just have to see how that stuff goes because we're, you know, people will be playing it relatively soon. So I'll be curious to hear what, you know, people say once they actually play it. You know, because, you know, again, we must just have this trailer to go off of from like, you know, a visual, vibes, and some like limited gameplay. But I'm gonna read this article they put on the Play Destiny Rising. They basically just have what is Destiny Rising as a developer preview. So I'm gonna read through some of this. Maybe there's some more details in here we can kind of glean from that. So here we go. On this day, we've had the pleasure of finally being able to reveal Destiny Rising to the world, a project we've been passionately working on for the past few years to make it not only the best mobile epic sci-fi RPG shooter we can deliver, but also a genuine Destiny experience that both fans of Bungie's iconic universe and new players can equally enjoy. Bringing a beloved and well-established IP over to the world of mobile is sure to bring up many questions, and we're here to answer them. However, bear in mind that we're still very early on the journey to bring Destiny Rising to all players, as some things are still subject to change as we continue to work on making improvements. And then, you know, they kind of show a trailer here. Like our development teams alluded to, Destiny Rising is a mobile RPG shooter featuring multi-character focused action and a wide range of gameplay modes, all set within the Destiny universe. This means that you'll get to play as a growing roster of characters, each with their own unique playstyles, abilities, gear that you'll work towards leveling up and empowering, progressing through the main campaign storyline and a variety of activities, which we will break down. So there you go. It seems like it's more character based. How that means, like, I know people, you can raise the alarm bells for like, it's a gacha game, oh god. Or like, who knows if it's that. Maybe they could go like, Warframe. I think Warframe's on mobile, right? Maybe they could go that route with, maybe you're earning, maybe you gotta like earn stuff and to unlock or unlock characters and progress them or do whatever. I don't know. But that seems like it is going to be more character based rather than you are picking a hunter and making a hunter or a warlock. It is going to be you play this character and they have the abilities of like what you think a warlock would have or what a hunter would have. Stuff like that, I guess, is maybe what they're going to go for. So that's definitely an interesting approach and definitely like differentiates it a little bit from Destiny 2. So let's see. Let's keep reading here. Destiny 2 is set in an alternate timeline. Many years before Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. This time it allows for a different exploration of humanity. Humanity does begin to rise in the ashes of the collapse. When invaders from beyond the stars brought an end to what was once a golden age. So yeah, they're going like way back, even before Destiny 1 and 2. I think that's a smart play because that lets them again be like kind of more out there with their choices of how they kind of choose characters you play as, and they are not like locked into those classes and stuff. So let's do that. It lets them do their own stories and introduce things like that. Like that makes me think, or I guess maybe hope is it's not just kind of like they kind of just do a very light retelling of Destiny 1, like Destiny 1 with it, right? Where it's just like, oh, the first update for Destiny Rising here, and it's the Hive King expansion. That's a new enemy. I was gonna try and say orcs backwards, but I don't think that works. Ixor, yes, whatever. But you know what I mean. Like I like it sounds like they're I'm hoping they use this as a way to like tell more interesting stories in the Destiny universe rather than kind of just retreading things people know and kind of like doing that stuff. You know what I mean? So again, that's like it seems like this game is still a little bit of ways away, probably sometime next year if at all. So still some stuff we have to learn. So let's keep reading here. It says meet the roster. That says this unique setting provides an unparalleled opportunity to witness some of Destiny's most legendary light bearers in their formative days. Not only will you see iconic figures like Ikora Rey, the Iron Lord Jolder, and a youthful Kabir, but you'll also have the chance to play as them and their renowned heroes of yore. This is an era before the Guardians were fully defined, and the classes of Hunters, Titans, and Warlocks had not yet been solidified. Each character comes with a distinct and unique playstyle, offering a fresh and immersive experience. That's pretty cool. So like you'll be able to play as Ikora in this game and play as an Iron Lord character and Kabir, I think was like in like what Vault of Glass lore and stuff like that. So that's cool, but I'm sure there will be original characters too, like that goth void lady. I don't think that she applies to any of these characters, so it'll be kind of maybe like a mix of that stuff. So okay, interesting. In addition to familiar names and faces from Destiny 2, we have an expansive roster of new characters free to master, there you go, including many new lightbearers whose legendary stories you can experience firsthand. At the heart of it all is you, the protagonist known as Wolf, whose gender and appearance you can customize as you embark on your journey. Oh, okay, so you have like your character and you can, so interesting. So there's characters you can play as, but there's also this character you're customizing and making your own, like in Destiny 2. So weird. Okay. I don't even know. I don't understand how that fully works, but I guess we'll see. For the upcoming closed alpha test, which is just in more detail later, you have the opportunity to experience gameplay with 11 unique characters, but don't worry, this is just the beginning and many more characters are on the horizon. I mean, 11's still even more than I thought there'd be. So that's pretty interesting. So here you go. Each playable character you unlock boasts a unique set of abilities and a set of weapon types that they can use. Each Lightbearer has 2 weapon slots, one for primary and one for power weapons. Each slot has an available weapon type which differs by playable character. For example, Wolf can equip auto rifles as their primary weapon and grenade launchers as their power weapons. You have a shared inventory between all characters, so you can share weapons you unlock between those capable of wielding the same type of weapons. Interesting. So you're going to have like a character, I'm assuming there'll be things like, hey, use these weapons are better in this activity or whatever, or these weapons have like a surge or a buff in this activity. So it's like, oh, that's why you want to go get other characters that can get you access to certain kinds of weapons and not have them. Interesting. Okay. Each Lightbearer wields a unique relic that plays a great part in defining their gameplay, capable of unleashing powerful super abilities as well as their 2 signature abilities, in addition to a set of perks. For example, Kabir wields the Thunder Shield, granting him a shocking array of arc element attacks capable of blinding, as well as a sturdy shield that can block enemy attacks. Okay, so he has like a arc shield. Interesting. Okay. Along with some of the classic game modes that Destiny players might already be familiar with, we also have many more new modes. Each is designed to provide different experience and levels of challenge. Do you have a few minutes to kill? Try jumping into the Haven Ops Strike. Looking for greater challenge? Then Gauntlet Ops will put your raiding skills to the test. So interesting. So definitely going to be strikes and also raids of some kind going to be in this game. That's very interesting as well. So here we go. Looks like we have some PvE and PvP stuff that they're going to talk about. So one of the most iconic aspects of Destiny is its player versus environment experiences, and Destiny Rising is no exception. You'll find classic elements such as campaign missions, destination free roam exploration, Haven Ops, strike missions, and the raid-like Gauntlet Ops. Additionally, we've introduced a new exciting mode like Morgan's Prey, Legacy, Realms of the Nine, and many more. I won't spoil the fun. I'll let you discover these for yourself in our upcoming alpha. Interesting. So there is like an equivalent of strikes, but there's also like a raid-like experiences at the same time. Very interesting. So here we go. Here's PvP. Our primary focus for the closed alpha is optimizing our core PvE experiences. We haven't forgotten about the competitive side in our upcoming closed alpha. You get to experience our brand new competitive mode, Shifting Gates, uniquely crafted for Destiny Rising. Although it's still in the early stages of development, we hope you'll enjoy us in shaping this exciting new experience. So there you go. There will be some PvP aspects to this game as well. So there you go. And then they just say, hey, there will be a closed alpha November 1st for Destiny Rising. There you have it. There's that. Overall, actually sounds more interesting than I thought. But again, like it being mobile only, because I did see that it'll be a mobile experience on mobile devices. It seems like there's no plans for it being like a PC version of this in any way, shape, or form as of right now. So I'll be curious to see if they change their minds depending on how maybe popular this is. We'll have to wait and see. I think this is an okay thing. Like, you know, this is obviously NetEase is working on this. This is potentially going to open Destiny to a whole new audience of players that it may not have had before. And then, you know, people might check out this mobile version of Destiny Rising and then go like, well, there's Destiny 2. Maybe I should go check out that. I think the game needs like new players and a new influx of players more than ever with how the current game is, you know. So we'll have to see. At the end of the day, this will be its own thing separate from Destiny 2. I'm sure there'll be like crossover-y things of like, hey, log into Destiny Rising and this gets you stuff in Destiny 2 or vice versa or whatever, like little things like that, or maybe some collab where they throw some armor sets into Destiny Rising, into Destiny 2, whatever it ends up being. I'm sure there'll be like little things like that someday, but for now, you know, we'll just have to see how Destiny Rising shapes up. But, you know, I don't think it'll be something that suddenly I'm dropping Destiny 2 to play Destiny Rising or whatever. Like, that does not seem what the goal is in any way, shape, or form. So there's that. Let's move on now to Destiny 2, the stuff that dropped this week. We got a new dev insights for Frontiers, going over solo ops. I wanted to look through this. I have not looked at this article too much, actually. So we'll have to see what this is about. So this week's topic is the new solo ops activity category. Solo ops are short missions that are easy for lone players to jump into and quick to complete and fun to replay. Here's the TLDR. Solo ops are 10-minute missions that can be completed by single players or fire teams. They are low commitment options that still allow to use challenge customization to make progress toward better gear. They're being built for their experiences to stay fresh across repeated plays. Okay. So like basically like, you know, like a solo thing you can just jump in and do solo whenever and not have to worry about like, getting into like a fire team of strikes and get the loot and rewards, or worry about, having to, play with dummies and a fire team for strikes or some other activity. You can just kind of do this, or if you have like a limited playtime, you can jump in and do that. So that's pretty cool. So, they list a problem. I think I'm just going to jump ahead here. So here's the solution. What they say is solo ops are activities aimed at short play times and manageable for solo players. They'll be launched from the portal and have a target-based playtime for 10 minutes. Each solo activity emphasizes the fun of Destiny's combat action gameplay, presenting players with straightforward objectives that focus on gunplay. Solo op missions aren't intended to be intense tests of build crafting prowess or thumb skill. Instead, we want them to focus on the joy of playing in Destiny action sandbox in a way it's easy to jump into play for just a few minutes. So yeah, that makes sense. I think there's going to be a lot of push to have like things that are easier just to play and get new players accustomed to the game with frontiers and stuff like that. I'm sure there'll be some new stuff like this, and I think this is like an outlet for them to have that stuff. But I think they also did say that there is like challenge customization. So at a base level, it's going to be something super simple and easy for just a new player to jump in and have a quick Destiny experience in. Or if you have limited time play, you can just do that. But maybe if you're a more seasoned player, you can still jump into these and adjust the challenge of them in a way that lets you, get something out of it. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. Reward scaling. Solo ops will support scoring and challenge customization, like many of our other activities. As such, they will allow players to make incremental progress towards better and more powerful gear, and support customizing the difficulty of the activity with a wide variety of modifiers. If you still want to play well in solo activities, your score will contribute to the quality of your loot. But we're trying to construct these missions so that getting a good score is a matter of moving, shooting, and looting, rather than being determined by what loadout and build you bring into them. So there you go. Mission variability. Another goal of solo ops is to create activities with higher variability between plays. You'll be playing these missions as a way of making progress towards better gear. You're trying to make sure they stay fresh longer and are making them less predictable in what content you see. For example, at this time, we're aiming to have each mission come with a variant for at least 2 combatant factions, each one with a unique objective associated with it. Solo op missions will sometimes come with optional goals that only present themselves once you're in the activity, like the presence of treasure, goblins, or passageways to secret rooms opening when they are normally closed. Okay. We're also scattering random treasure chests throughout the activity. Finding them will get you a bonus to your final score. One piece of activity tech that we've been working on to build for these missions is a dynamic enemy spawning system. This system runs behind the scenes, monitoring how well you're doing, how long it's been since you've been in combat, and how close you're getting to your objective, and then spawn squads of enemies when the system determines that you need to be challenged. Okay, so there's games that have been doing stuff like that recently. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I know it's been like a more active thing, and so that's pretty cool to hear that's something they're thinking about in Destiny, and it seems like it'll be kind of tied to this specific solo ops activities. So they're definitely trying to like kind of build them out as like, something you can play a bunch a lot or jump into a lot, and they're always kind of different. So visiting exciting locations, that's kind of the last thing here. Since solo ops are a part of the core game that is free to play for everyone, we also wanted to take advantage of the fact that across the game, there are many locations that are either not used in free content or underused despite being a fun place to play. A lot of beautiful, exciting spaces play host to only a single story mission, and players have no reason to go to those places outside of that mission. Some like the Saul's Works area on EDZ. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I vaguely remember that area, but I get what they're saying there, because there's like tons of areas of unused stuff from the Red War campaign that like just were cool environments that you just never bothered going back to in any capacity. So it seems like maybe this is an avenue for them to just have like, here's just some quick Destiny shit that you can play and hop in and run and then be done, and so you're good. So okay, sure. So let's see. Solo op missions will take you into spaces you might have visited before, but the new objectives and a dynamic enemy spawning system help to make the experience feel both fresh and familiar. For many players, solo op missions might be the first time you go to those locations. We think that everyone should have a chance to experience these iconic spaces. Overall, we hope that the solo op missions will be a good activity for players who only have a short amount of time to play, prefer to play by themselves, or are looking for a lower intensity way to revel in the Destiny gameplay sandbox. Will solo ops support matchmaking? No. If you want to play with other people, Fireteam Ops is the way to go. Will solo ops include champions, banes, or any kind of specific modifier? We haven't locked down any specific set of modifiers that are going to come into solo ops. We can't just use the same modifiers as, say, strikes, because we're really aiming at a tight experience that solo players can enjoy. We want to make sure the modifiers we allow push down missions away from that experience. We do plan to support banes, as we think they offer an exciting way to increase the variety of experiences you have across multiple plays. So there you go. Solo ops. That sounds pretty interesting. I'm cool with that idea, and having just like a quick in and out sort of Destiny activity. They've definitely feel like they've strayed away from that recently in some of the Destiny activities we've been getting, with the strikes feel like they get longer. We have stuff like Onslaught, which is a lot of fun, but you either have a 10 wave, just still like, decently long, or you have a 50 wave, which is easily like a 45-minute or more investment that you're hopping into. So having this idea of like, here's just like a really quick bite-sized thing to play Destiny with, cool. I'm all for that. And adds more variety of play, because then you can have like solo op activities that are quick and easy to play. You can have like mid-tier stuff like strikes or other like seasonal activities, and you can have like longer form stuff like dungeons or onslaught or raids and stuff like that. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with like more variety, and this variety is the spice of life, as they say. But yeah, that's all the kind of recent Destiny news that I want to talk about. Just here at the end, I thought I'd give some thoughts about Revenant so far. Overall, I am enjoying Revenant more than I would say Echoes so far. I think that just kind of helps that I think the Onslaught is a lot more fun than the kind of more general kind of Echoes activity we got out the gate, where that was just kind of felt like a checkbox seasonal activity, where Revenant feels like Onslaught is kind of building upon the idea of Onslaught in an interesting and fun way, with all the new kind of traps you can build, and all the additions to that, new maps to that mode and stuff. I do like it a lot, and I'm excited to see them continue to build Onslaught in the future, but I also want them to do it smartly. I don't want it to just be like every season now we're just getting nothing but Onslaught. I hope they do still, again, like I said, variety, spice of life. So I hope we don't get into whatever the next episode is, episode Heresy, and it's like, oh yeah, this act is just more Onslaught, whatever. Like if they do that again, I'd be like, okay. But I do like that they're not just abandoning this mode, for sure. I'm in agreement. I think that's awesome. I'll be the controversial person and say I don't really like the seasonal weapons not being craftable as much as I am enjoying an Onslaught. And I've been getting some stuff from that, and kind of still feel like I want to progress that stuff, seasonal wise, and chase some of the weapons. Like having them not be craftable does not make that any more or less exciting. Like I get what they were going for, because a lot of people like that aspect with Into the Light, and I would say I did too, to an extent. But I will also say that helped because a lot of the weapons that came with Into the Light were highly requested weapons to return to the game. They also had shiny variants, which is like a cool cosmetic vanity thing, where these are just any kind of average seasonal weapon drop that they do with any of these episodes or seasons or whatever, where it's just like, okay, another void sidearm that I will probably barely use ever, if not at all, or an arc pulse rifle or whatever. It's a lot of the same stuff we've seen for so long, and it's only exciting to a certain level. So the idea of them being craftable helped that a lot, because it was still the idea of having a completionist mentality with being able to sort of brain feel good checkbox, but also the idea of maybe this weapon might not be good in this moment, but but now that I have the crafting materials, or I've done the red borders and done this or whatever to make it a craftable weapon, now I know that that could be something I could use in a future season, or craft one of these to be a part of the season, because it's gonna be really fun with this arc build, or because they made buffs or balance changes or whatever. I've had that literal scenario happen with previous seasonal weapons where, I barely used any of the seasonal weapons from episode echoes even. Like I got them craftable, but now I'm in this season and they have a bunch of stasis stuff. I'm using that stasis area denial GL that they made last episode, and it's a ton of fun to use now. And like I don't feel like I'm like hindered by not having done all of the mindless grinding of replaying of a thing that to the point where I'm burned out just to hope I get a roll that could be useful. Now it's like, oh, I can just go pick this weapon back up and use it in this activity and have fun with it. So I think, crafting isn't being abandoned. I totally understand but they wanted to try something new. I just don't think it worked here. Like, I just don't think it was the right call. And I think they know that too, to a certain extent. Cause like, I think having to go back to complete random roll chase on kind of whatever weapons, I think it only goes so far. And I think having avenues to directly get these weapons in the future, it still makes sense to me. But I also agree with the overall higher level concept of like, I think the red border chase to get the crafting weapon is not the right way to do it anymore. I think there is better ways they can approach crafting in the future with how they want to evolve it. I have my own ideas, but I'm sure they are already said they want to do more stuff with it and have a new system in place to chase craftable weapons and get craftable weapons. That makes sense for this game. So I'm definitely open to seeing what they do with it, but I don't want the core concept and idea of the craftable weapons to disappear from this game. It is, I think the idea of craftable weapons has always been, we have a determined path to a weapon roll we want. That isn't just dictated by, I played this thing, I played X or Y activity for 10 hours or whatever, however many hours it took to hopefully get that, or I just got really lucky and now I just have the drop. And like that is, I don't think that is a good value proposition anymore, as much as some people find that to be. I just don't think it is anymore. I really don't think it is. And I don't think you're losing a lot of the player base that would otherwise be excited for new weapons because they took out the crafting from them. But that's that. I think on the other end, the new dungeon, Vesper's Host, I'll go into that. I like that dungeon a lot. It's super fun. Has like a spectacle level. Like I agree with a lot of the folks that have been out there saying like this feels almost like a raid in some regards, because it feels like it's a dungeon, but with the spectacle level of like things you would see in raids, where there's like you get to the final boss and it has like a cool, like, an amazing view of this, like that crazy ring that they've shown a lot of the imagery, but the boss has like an opening sequence where he tries to blow you up and you have to like run into a thing. And then there's like, crazy hectic encounter where you're running through this like, station while these like irradiated versions of the puppets that the boss makes chase you around. It's very chaotic, but it's like, there's a lot going on and it can be pretty hectic, but it's really cool. And I think they nail all that stuff. And of course, I'm a sucker for like the Clovis Spray, like, Deep Stone Crypt tech motif and aesthetic in Destiny in general. That's always the stuff I love the most. And this is like a dungeon that is entirely that. So it's really cool. And it has all the spacewalk type stuff. The armor set you unlock, even of itself, it's called the spacewalk. It's like a spacewalk set. That's literally called that. And it works because they're like, it's kind of like Clovis Spray looking, astronaut looking sets. Look awesome. Again, great aesthetic. The weapons are pretty cool. There's another void area denial GL I definitely want to get. I heard like if you get attrition orbs on it, it apparently is like an orb printing machine. It gets pretty crazy. You can also get to stabilizing rounds, so I would definitely like to try it with like that combo or something like that. I think the one I got that I kept right now is I got Demolition Bait and Switch, which is like not bad, but I definitely want to try and get some of those other rolls. I have not gotten Icebreaker yet. I think I've done like 3 runs of the dungeon so far, so it's pretty fun. I think overall this first act of this episode was pretty strong. Definitely better out the gate from previous episode. So just have to see how we go. I know there's been some teases of what's next because you can kind of see with some of the stuff in the game, like some of the materials you need to get for the potion crafting system, which like I didn't really talk that much about. It's kind of whatever to me, personally. But you know, there seems to be like some kind of reprisal of a Destiny 1 activity that seems to be Prison of Elders inspired, at least if it's not just full-on Prison of Elders period. So that would be cool to see. I want to see what that looks like in Destiny 2 and how they kind of remodify it for that. So that'll be next, and there's some kind of exotic mission that's becoming later as well. So pretty cool overall. I think this definitely has a better start than the previous Echo season, for me at least personally. I like a lot of the stuff that's going on. The story, you know, they kind of put it all together at once, so I know there's a lot of people who were kind of miffed by that. I don't know, that personally didn't bother me as much as I thought it would, because I definitely, maybe it was my expectation, right, of like, I feel like I was kind of going into this already expecting it to feel much more limited in the story regard, because they said they're putting it all up front, and the idea of like them putting the story stuff in and being like, oh yeah, you're gonna, you know, they're basically just gonna copy and paste what they did with the story stuff before, where you're doing random missions over and over again while interstitched with, you know, the little story kind of dialogue bits. They didn't do. They just kind of, you know, took out kind of the extra steps that you would probably do every week and then just gave you the story. And I think that was fine with me. Like I get the setup of it. You know, this ultimately is just an epilogue, so it feels like, you know, it does feel like in the similar way of my complaints with Echoes, where it feels like a lot of it is treading old ground, but like, you know, they got through it faster, at least with this. So like we got to some of the more interesting beats of like, oh, Mithrax has like some kind of like Nezarec cancer or something, and you know, maybe we have to help him somehow fix that. Maybe that does something with Fickroll and how that works with Fickroll or something. I don't know. The copium level in me hopes that maybe this is like a way for them to, maybe they take Nezarec and maybe he gets taken out and passes away, but then becomes a guardian. Like that would be, I personally think that would be kind of cool to finally have a moment like that, because we've already had Hive Guardians, and that would be like a cool setup for like future storylines of having Guardian Mithrax or whatever. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But overall, yeah, I'm digging this stuff so far, and we'll see how it keeps evolving. I admittedly will say, like, I did enjoy overall, but I don't see myself playing a lot of Destiny in the future, as always, just because there's a lot of other games coming out. You'll see pretty soon here I'm gonna have a lot of Wayfinder videos, because that's going into its 1.0 release this coming week. So I'm pretty stoked for that, and plan on playing a bunch of that and doing some videos. There's some other cool like co-op roguelite games coming out pretty soon. One's called Windblown, which is from the creators of Dead Cells, which is an awesome roguelite, but this is like their next game. It's gonna be early access, but it'll have like co-op and stuff, which is cool. Some stuff like that I'm definitely plan on checking out here on the channel pretty soon here. So, you know, feel free to stick around, or, you know, if you just like my Destiny rambling videos, you know, I'll definitely still keep doing those here and there. But, you know, I'm going to be covering other stuff too, but it's always appreciated. You know, I'll do my shameless, please subscribe here at the end. I think I'm 6 or 8 subscribers away from 500. That would be awesome to hit that soon here. So, you know, maybe if you're just stumbling across this Destiny ramble video here and want to hear my thoughts, random person on the internet, you know, and you liked it, feel free to subscribe. If not, that's cool too. I hope you enjoyed me rambling here about Destiny. But that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks everybody for watching and hanging out as always, and I'll see you in the next one.